Well, hello, my beautiful Virgo. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your career and money reading for the end of June right through the end of July 2025. I've already cleansed your space and I've meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about to pretend to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I'm using Gaia chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound, okay? So let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Virgo, this is your career and money reading. I'm going to get all of your cards first before I connect to an outcome. So let us begin. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Virgo? What do they need to know regarding their career situation at this time? Please show them the way. What do they need to know regarding their money situation at this time and what is to come? Can you please highlight what they need to know right now for their highest good? Now, I don't know if you noticed, but when I was doing the Gaia chimes, suddenly they went very, very still. Now, I try as much as possible just to let the Gaia chimes do its thing so that I don't influence the sounds that come out there, but it very much stopped dead, and there was a very long pause. So either you're working really hard because you're about to take a vacation and take some time off, perhaps you're out of office, you're off grid, under the radar, unreachable at this time, or this is something that you're dreaming of right now. If only you could take a vacation, but it can indicate that something makes you pause or stop in your tracks. We'll see what that is when the energy pops out there. We got the Tower. Okay, so this could be a sudden shock or realization, perhaps. We'll tap into that. I mean, the Tower is in your protagonist energy, so it means you're restructuring in some way. You know, it's not something that's happening to you, it's something that's happening for you, or you are like happening to it, as it were. If it was in the outcome energy, I'd say, uh-oh, there could be something that perhaps comes to distract you or make you frustrated. I mean, a lot of you, that Tower can indicate you're under a lot of pressure and you're trying to manage stress levels at this time. But I do see that you are a Tower of Power and you could be having a major revelation regarding your career sector. Yeah, it's helping you see something. We've got manifestation and transformation. I mean, the fact that the sound stopped, it could indicate that perhaps some department stops or some aspect of your job or your career changes radically, or there could be some sort of pause or waiting game. Perhaps you're waiting on information on something. I definitely see change, but it feels like a portal of opportunity for you to rise is what I'm seeing there. And a lot of you, especially if you're an independent worker, it can have been very challenging for you. The Tower can indicate you feel isolated, that you're doing it all by yourself, that it's really hard to create structure. At every corner, there seems to be something that you have to address or you know, shift or correct, and you're just feeling a little bit fed up at this time, but new knowledge is going to help you. Now, I love this. If you know my readings, you'll know that whenever a tower shows up, a Wheel of Fortune shows up as well. So this is a surprise, and it's a good one because you just got the Wheel of Fortune crossing the tower. So I would say there is a wonderful surprise that will benefit you. It literally changes everything, but it can also indicate you're changing your luck. You're shifting things around that will really benefit you. There's an opportunity being offered to you that has not arisen yet, but it will, and it sees you going places in your career, okay? So I'm very excited about that. We have the High Priestess. This is something that is right for you, but a lot of you could be tapping into the economy right now or intuitively noticing some changes that you're a little bit cautious about when it comes to the working environment. I mean, we've got that Five of Cups there, which indicates some of you are worried about loss. I mean, if you have come to this reading and you've currently either lost your job or been made redundant at this time, I can see that something that you have not been offered just yet, but you may have interviewed for, that comes back around, but there is an opportunity that you're absolutely going to love that changes everything. It's something you manifested into being. It's the perfect role that comes in for you. And yeah, you turn something down and then there's something else. It feels like there's something that either you have interviewed for and you're going to get another interview at it, and in the meantime, it feels like, you know, it's a great opportunity, but suddenly the universe says, surprise, something better. So I feel like if you're currently looking for a job or you're putting a resume out there trying to find opportunities, I feel there is one coming on in that you'll turn down, or it doesn't go the way you'd hoped, but the next one is like the dream job opportunity. Sometimes we are put on pause or we are rejected from something on purpose. You know, rejection is protection and redirection towards something greater. And I see here, you know, the Knight of Cups and the Four of Cups. It indicates that, you know, there's opportunities coming your way, but some of them are just not fulfilling. You're like, meh, it's not paying the money you want, or it's not the dream role, or it's not close to what you're hoping for. Then suddenly, out of the blue, you know, that Four of Cups is a new option comes in, something that you are not expecting that is a surprise. And the Knight of Cups indicates you're grabbing it with both hands. It's an opportunity that takes you places, okay? And the Six of Swords indicates you're protected and directed at this time. You are going through some sort of rite of passage where you had to wait for the right role to come on in. And I see you having a new start here. So if you're currently looking for a job, there's definitely a new start here. For some of you, you may have to travel with this, or it requires you going to different branches. You know, Six of Swords can be even to cross water. So some of you may be looking for overseas opportunities, or there's some sort of travel connected to it. So you could be like going from branch to branch, or it could require you going to like a headquarters and then spending your time at a base, for example. If you're an entrepreneur or you are an independent worker, this could be a new client from overseas who through word of mouth actually promotes your business. For some of you, it could also be that you're expanding your reach in some way, branching out, or you feel that you've hit a plateau in what you do already and you want to trial something new or launch something new that gets people's attention. So that's coming in there as well. So let's get to your cards. Whatever you're going through, there is some sort of revamp. Now, some of you, this could be a relocation. So either you work for a company and they are either refurbishing at this time and there's a lot of distraction, or it can be a relocation move there because the Six of Swords can indicate that the branch or business is relocating in some way, and there's a bit of like chaos where everything is in boxes or everything's being moved about, filing cabinets, everything's just up in the air for some of you with the company that you work for. Or if you are an independent worker, it could be that you are moving your business somewhere else, and it just feels like a lot right now, but you're taking a leap of faith in this change is what I'm seeing, because the Tower can indicate that you're building something. Some of you are building something from scratch. You know, this could be your pension pot. It could be your savings plan, especially if you have been, paying out on rent, high amounts on rent, or your mortgage, for example. It could be that, you are now rebuilding your finances to be able to try and save a little bit more because you have some, excessive bills to pay out. But these are bills that are connected to a base or a foundation of something. But, when you have the Tower, it is your protagonist energy. You're having a sudden realization on something. It's an intuitive hit on how to change your fortune, because the High Priestess is in silence. Suddenly there's wisdom. So it can indicate that psychically you get a flash of your future, and it's very successful. There's an idea that comes to you that helps you reshape or reform the way you work in some way, and it's beneficial for you. But it could also indicate suddenly there is news that changes everything, because there is a Page of Cups here. So it can be some news that you have not received yet is about to come on in, and it literally changes everything. But for some of you, if you're having to start from scratch on something, realize that you're starting from experience, not from scratch. And what you rebuild after that is going to be truly successful indeed. You know, I'm just being reminded of some people who are kind of like very successful in their industry, like billionaires or millionaires, and then you hear that suddenly they lost everything, or, you know, the economy shifted and changed and they lost, because you do have a card of loss here with that Five of Cups. This may not resonate with everyone, but if you are someone who has lost something financially recently, or you know, you've even lost your motivation because you're so exhausted, you're like going around in circles trying to just do what you do every day. You may have got locked into a cycle of repeat, and you're just feeling like you once loved what you did, but now it's like you're on autopilot. It can indicate that suddenly, you know, everything changes. Your fortune changes. You're on the up now. You're rebuilding, and there's more prosperity. Or it can be that you're revitalizing your spirits, and suddenly you're like coming out of a repetitive cycle. You know, whenever we repeat something, because if you think about a tower, it can mean that, you know, you feel stuck where you're at right now, or you've hit a plateau, or you're so highly pressurized that something has to give. You're exhausted. You're doing this all by yourself, and you feel there's no support system, or you feel that for some of you, you may feel isolated in your working environment, locked off, you know, and you're trying to integrate, or you're trying to find alternative opportunities where you feel that you fit in, or you feel that you belong. You know, sometimes we can belong in a place. We don't have to fit into it. We can be a maverick. We can be bold and daring. You stand out in some way in your industry. That's literally what this means. The tower stands out. It can mean that you're getting a lot of attention in some way. And I feel for a lot of you, this could be that you've been locked into some sort of cycle repeat, which means actually you're a pro at what you do, because the more you do something day to day, the better you get at it. But it can be a little bit stifling or boring, for example. So you feel like you need to revamp the way that you work to keep things interesting. So this could be that you're breaking out of something, or a cycle of repeat in some way. Or finally, you know, you finished that difficult project, or you've done with that difficult client, and now you're on to something else. For some of you, you know, a difficult or challenging client, if you deal with one of those, if you are an entrepreneur or you run your own business, or even if you work in a company, you know, you could hear that this person is leaving, or is like not going to do business with you anymore. And you may be like, oh my gosh. It presents itself as a loss at first because the Five of Cups is there. But actually, I feel like you've got someone more beneficial coming to take their place, who actually helps expand your reach. Someone who has more clout, someone who has more say or more power in the industry and expands the business. You know, sometimes the universe removes in order to deliver more, to create space for more. And that's what that Death card energy indicates. There may be some changes going on in your industry that feels overwhelming at first, but it is to rebuild back better, stronger than ever before. And because we have that Wheel of Fortune crossing the tower, you know, the tower is surprise. It is a refocus or reshift or reset in some way. And the Wheel of Fortune indicates this is going to be beneficial for you. It's lucky for you. You're turning your fortune around in some way, and you're locked on to doing something that you love. I mean, the Wheel of Fortune indicates cycles. So it could be that you have been locked into a certain season in your working environment. The quarter may be over, and now you're looking at, you know, your receipts, or strategizing, organizing, structuring for the next quarter. Or it could be that you're completing your tasks and then you're on to the next. And, you know, you're breaking a pattern. That's literally what these two mean. You're breaking a pattern in some way. So if you feel that people have, you know, underestimated you, or they have taken advantage of the fact that you're very talented and gifted, and that They've been either trying to take credit for your work, or they've been giving you so much work, but there's no financial recompense in return. There's no balance financially. You're breaking the cycle. You're breaking out of it. And you're saying, hey, how's this benefiting me? And I feel like you're making some changes so that it does benefit you in some way, okay? So this Wheel of Fortune, I feel there is an opportunity coming out of the blue in the next 6 weeks that you're going to love, that you're going to celebrate. I mean, intuitively, some of you, this is something that you know is going to happen. You can feel the winds of change occurring right now. But also, there could be some sort of like surprise bonus or benefit that you keep to yourself. This could be something, if you work for an establishment, for example, it could be something that's offered to you quietly, and you're told to just keep it a secret at this time. So I feel like you're honoring that, but it really benefits you, whatever this is. But also, you know, you could be working on like an incredible idea right now that you're keeping to yourself, but when it's ready to launch, I feel it will go global. You know, a lot of you could be having a glow up, or if you're like an influencer in some way, you could go viral. You could be made famous for something here, because I feel suddenly you're catapulted towards something new that sees you being seen in some way, recognized for whatever it is that you do. But the High Priestess is to have faith. A lot of you are reprogramming. These cards here indicates you're, you know, realigning your focus with an alternative way of doing something. And it can be that you've got one foot in the old, one foot in the new. And this can be that, you know, you're trying new tools, for example. You're trialing something new to see if it works, and then you'll let go of the old thing because it's not working anymore. And you're kind of like staying ahead of the competition in your industry. Some of you could actually be going into programming or coding, for example. The High Priestess can indicate that you're using like the ether in some way, the internet in some way to benefit you. It could be that you're launching something online, or there's email communication that comes through that actually surprises you and benefits you long term. Of course, the High Priestess is to sit with knowledge as well. And because you have the Hierophant there too, it could be that you're learning new knowledge at this time, or thinking about putting yourself on a course of learning in order to upskill or change your fortune so you can increase your pay grade. A lot of you, this time period feels like you're in uncharted territory. I'd say it's a very explorative time for you, and you're going to surprise yourself with what you come up with there. But I do see here that you're bucking a trend, something traditional that is like day to day. It feels like you're approaching it either in a different way, or you're being maverick and trying new things, or even trialing a new way of working in order to benefit you more. For some of you, if you are currently involved in educating yourself to a high degree, because I feel like it unlocks the next level for you, I feel like you could have a test connected to this, and I feel that this will, of course, see you pass with flying colors. And for some of you, you're very critical on yourself. I feel like you do really well, but there's this core energy like, yeah, I did well, but I could have done better. I feel like you're only in competition with yourself. You did really well. I see that you like celebrate how well you did, but you always feel like there's room for more. And I feel like you will continue that on your path, but make sure you have compassion for yourself, because I feel like you're doing a great job there. Now, some of you have been going through a very testing time. To get the Tower and the Six of Swords, it indicates you've been going through a lot of tests in your industry, or the economy has tested your business in some way. But I feel like you're being guided towards better opportunities. You may actually explore alternative avenues because of this reset or this change, and actually it helps you diversify, branch out, and you may not have explored these avenues if you didn't feel there were some changes that you needed to kind of like manage, or things were not changing to such a high degree that you felt pushed into having to explore alternative options. I feel the universe has thrust you out of your comfort zone in some way. And some of you, if you work for a company, you may notice that you're getting tested by someone in a position of authority. Okay, this is for a reason. I feel like they are aware of a new role or some sort of promotion available, and they want you to get it. They want to back you on this. And I feel like they're putting you forward for this opportunity, but they may test you a little bit to see if you're capable, because it's their name on the line when they are vouching for you there. So if your boss is not someone who normally is tetchy or difficult or testing you, note that they are aware of an alternative opportunity coming in, and they're kind of like seeing if you're up to the challenge. You are, of course, but you may feel a bit disappointed, thinking, hey, why are they being like this? This is so weird. It's out of character. I feel like they have to do this in order to make sure that you're, the right person for the job. However, if someone is being rude to you or, out of order, I feel like you could get a little bit fed up with this person and actually take them to HR or a governing body. Equally, if some of you are, an independent worker and you have not been paid for something, or you are fed up with someone's behavior, you may actually let go of this person as a client that you deal with, or you may actually seek counsel on how to navigate this challenge with this person. I mean, I feel it doesn't quite get into legalities, but if you feel that's the necessary next step, I feel it could change everything. But I feel it's almost like it's an interesting scenario. It feels like somehow you feel really fed up with the way things go. You win, but it was such a challenge, or it just took your time and attention away from what you really want to do. It ended up being a distraction. So I feel like you don't really want to go down a legal route with something because you feel like it kind of gets in your way. But they may actually settle out of court anyway. So yeah, if you've got a discrepancy or a problem with a person, I feel like, it could go that way. Now, we do have that Page of Cups. It's in the resistance position. I hate to give you this message, but some of you, as I mentioned, you may deal with a person who has unrealistic expectations of you. You may be getting more work. If there are redundancies, or if you're witnessing people being let go in the working environment, or you're just noticing that there's a lot of losses in your industry, okay, because the Five of Cups is there, which is all about loss, but it's in the resistance position, which means you don't really get affected too much by this, even if you're made redundant, or even if you are, coming to this reading. And this is only if you've come to this reading, because it is a starting card, okay? I'm not seeing you being made redundant. I want you to be aware of that. This is only if this is something that happened to you already and you've come to this reading. I feel like, you get an alternative opportunity because it benefits you more than the last one, and that's why the universe had to nudge you. Sometimes we're given signs and symbols by the universe to make some changes. And if we ignore them, then the universe sends us a tower to knock us off the fence. Okay, I've been sent many a tower, and at first I didn't realize what they were, but now I realize they are there for benefit. Doesn't feel like that at first, it feels uncomfortable. Change, when it's thrust upon you, is challenging. So I feel a lot of you will notice as you learn, deep down, you'll feel, actually, this change was good. So I feel some of you, if you're noticing losses in your industry, because of course economically we're seeing this at the moment. I'm not going to sugarcoat something for you. I'm being honest with the energy and the reading and, the circumstances that we find ourselves in. You're noticing a lot of major establishments, brands that have been around for a long time. They may be downsizing when it comes to their establishments. They're buckling down economically so that they are savvy with whatever it is that they're doing. So if you're witnessing these things, a lot of you with that High Priestess energy, you could be feeling really cautious about the direction that your industry is heading in. But looking at this, I feel, yes, there's some changes, but I feel like you are in a really great position because you're good at what you do. You bring your A game. You offer a lot to your industry because you're so good at it. But of course it is hard. The Four of Cups there can indicate that, you are someone right now who is feeling a bit fed up with the way things are going. You're exhausted. And for some of you, you may want to change, or you may want to, leave a position, but you're feeling a bit cautious because economically there are a lot of disruptive losses out there right now, and you're feeling, well, would I find an alternative opportunity? Well, the answer is yes, but I see a lot of you actually deciding to get the opportunity before you leave a position, if you are leaving a position, because you are affecting change in your industry, okay? Now, for some of you, if you've just entered into a new working environment, it can be that you're here to shake things up a little bit. You've got different ways of running the show, as it were, and, there's a traditional way of running the show. So it could be that you come up against somebody who does not want to play ball, someone who basically is like, I like it the old way, and you're like, well, I'm the new person, and I'm managing a team or whatever it is you're doing, and you've got just a different way of doing it. You could actually blend the energies so it's not such a shock to people. for some of you, because that High Priestess can be to have one foot in the old way of doing things and one foot in the new way of doing things. So it could be that, you're easing in some changes that people will be a little bit more comfortable with. And if you are someone who runs your own business, this can indicate that you feel a little bit isolated, so you want to integrate. So you could actually find some sort of networking event or some sort of opportunity to connect to like-minded individuals. And actually, you'll learn a lot more from people doing business. It could be you meet a person who tells you about the pitfalls that they encountered, and by telling you that, it may help you avoid, because the Tower in this position helps you avoid something that would be damaging for you in some way, and I feel like you avoid something that could be negative. But I feel right now this Page of Cups indicates there's an opportunity here that you're not aware of that is basically going to come in and surprise you, and you're going to grab this opportunity with both hands. A lot of you, if you're working on something in secret, if you're an entrepreneur or you are an independent worker, you're creative, it could be that you're launching something new or starting something new and you're getting ready to launch it. And a lot of you, as I mentioned, it will be far-reaching. Six of Swords indicates people from overseas will see what you have created or will purchase it or whatever it is that you do at this time. I mean, not all of you are selling items, so please apply it to your situation. I feel if you've noticed some shock changes, rules, regulations, or things shifting in your industry, I feel like you're being flexible and intuitive with these so that these changes benefit you rather than overwhelm you, is what I'm seeing. Also, I feel a lot of you may be working really hard right now in order to take a vacation, tie up loose ends. There's a lot of activity here, and you may actually, when you remove yourself from the flurry of activity and the pressure, you may make a vouch to yourself to be more mindful of your health, body, mind, and soul. But this break, it gives you an opportunity to really think about your next steps. And some of you, with that Five of Cups being in the resistance position, because in the resistance position, the Five of Cups is actually something that benefits you. It can indicate that which you feel like you lost out on actually is offered to you, or that which you had difficulty with is suddenly, coming back to a more manageable way of working, as it were. If there's been shortages in your industry, suddenly, there is an influx and there's no shortages anymore. Something you may have been disappointed on, suddenly there's an opportunity that sees that there was no need for disappointment because something better came in there. But this can be a card of sacrifice. You're sacrificing a lot right now in order to do something that will benefit for your future. And if some of you have actually sacrificed something you used to love doing because you had to get serious about structuring your finances, I see you will return to something that you love doing. So for example, and I'm just mentioning this, if in the last couple of years, humanity went through a major reshift because of certain occurrences, shall we say, that went down, that affected the economy, it could be that you had to make some sacrifices during that and leave something you used to love doing in order to structure your life in a different way. I see some of you coming out of that energy, out of that structure, and actually returning to something that you used to love doing, and you're now in a better platform in order to explore it, if that makes sense. So that's coming on in there as well. Now, some of you may lose an item in the working environment, but you will find it, okay? That's something that's randomly just coming on in there. What else am I getting? For some of you, you may have to return an item that you purchase, okay? You may actually have to chase this as well, because the person, they may try to give you back the full amount for the item, but you may have to pay for shipping costs. So they may try to take the money for the shipping costs, okay? But actually, you'll be able to negotiate that and get it back. So that's coming through there as well. I mean, when you have the Five of Cups, this can indicate that right now you feel that things are challenging and overwhelming, but it indicates you're about to turn a corner, a positive corner in your industry, but you can't see that because it is in the resistance position. But there is some major change coming on in, something that you have manifested because the Magician card is there. I feel like things are going to get better, okay? So if you have had challenge, which a lot of you have, I feel like you're so fed up of changes and rules and regulations and policies and the goalposts being moved, and it just feels like a lot right now, overwhelming, and somehow you feel isolated. But I feel actually in the next coming weeks, you're really standing out from the crowd when it comes to your working environment, and you're making sound decisions. And this card indicates that you're locking on with focus and you're transforming your life in some way. You know, to have this card, it indicates that you're turning your visions into reality using inspired action. So you're not getting complacent, you're being very productive, you're breaking out of a rut in some way, and I feel like you're smashing through a glass ceiling. So this could be that if you feel like you've hit a plateau in your energy or in your industry in some way or your working environment, I feel like you're breaking out of that now, and you know, you're commanding more in some way. The Magician card is a manifestation card, but it indicates that you are someone who is gifted, very talented, very productive. You're locked onto a goal. And as you can see here, there's an infinity sign which highlights that you have infinite resources inside of yourself. It's just about channeling your energy. You can see the foundation of pyramids channel energy upwards in order to aspire to something higher. And as you can see that figure, you know, what they have in their mind, they can have in their hand. That's literally what this means. As above, so below. It means, you know, your ideas become tangible on the physical plane. You're capable of changing your circumstances, and change is afoot, okay? So I do see that a lot of you could be withdrawing in order to make sure there's no distractions on something, but the death card means a resurrection or a change, a rebirth, a change that transforms everything, that makes improvements there. It could be an ending of a cycle. As I said there, you know, the Gaia chimes went really quiet. They stopped dead. Even though the you know, little chime center was moving, there was no sound. So it can be that there's been a lull in your industry, but suddenly it picks up, everything transforms, and it creates space for something better. A new portal is opening up for you to rise. That figure is rising. They're spreading their wings there. So some of you could be launching something at this time, or you're transforming something so that it, you know, is somehow an improvement on what it was before, is what I'm seeing there. Now, of course, some of you may have just come to this reading and wondering about your finances at this time. I mean, you didn't get any pentacles, so I'll pull a quick card on that. It doesn't mean that you're not focused on your finances at this time. You know, you've got mainly cups, you've got the vision, you've got swords, which is about, you know, your thoughts and your direction, taking action towards something, being protected from any like negative outcomes there. So let's see more about finances. I mean, a lot of you could be stricter with your finances at this time, pooling your resources. You know, Six of Swords is to save your finances. It can indicate that, you know, you're turning a corner financially and that you're managing your money better, but also that there could be some sort of dip in the prices of whatever it is that you purchase, so you can actually save more. We've got Justice. And we got the King of Pentacles. Okay, so maybe some minor adjustments when it comes to your spending habits, but the King of Pentacles can indicate that, you know, you're savvy with your finances, and, you know, it's cause and effect there. You know, the Justice card can indicate there will be fairer opportunities for money. This is to increase your finances or attract more opportunities for wealth. But it can also indicate that you get some advice or some legal advice regarding financial structures so that you can, you know, connect to generational wealth or be clever about your finances to make sure that you lock onto a financial strategy that benefits you and your family. You know, Five of Cups being in the resistance position, it means you're guarding against losses when you get these two cards here. So I would say here that you're smart and you're reaping the rewards of your hard work. Even if you're retired, I feel like you made some savvy decisions there, and you may get some more legal advice regarding acquisitions or investments. But I feel some of you have a hidden talent here that you could explore even in retirement that could actually bring in more money. But if you're in real estate, for example, I see that there could be some rules or regulations changing regarding how you manage real estate, but it will still benefit you, is what I'm seeing there as well. So I'm going to move away from the energy because King of Pentacles indicates that you're being serious about your financial strategy, and I feel that, you know, you're looking at the long term investments there. It's slow and steady, but you're building your empire. As I said, that tower can be to build something, build your savings plan. So you may put away a little bit more money than you'd hoped for, which you'll be really proud of this month there as well. Okay, now we have the Knight of Cups, which of course indicates something being offered to you, something that you're going to love. But this could be that your spirits are revitalized because you're locked onto a dream. You're looking at the possibilities now, what you're capable of, but there's an energy here of wanting more or stepping up in some way, leveling up and stepping into a position that actually goes somewhere. So with this Knight of Cups energy, it's more about following your bliss in your career, and the money will flow from there as well. So I feel like you are looking at your reputation. I feel like you're looking at the path ahead and locking into opportunities that don't keep you stuck, give you an opportunity instead, rather to flourish in your career and take you somewhere. Okay, because I feel a lot of you, there's movement, there's elevation, there's next level energy here. And I feel with that Six of Swords that you are extending your reach, or there is an opportunity opening up here for you where you are kind of like moving forward after a long period of feeling stuck in a rut there. So no matter what industry you work in, whether you work for yourself, entrepreneur, whether you are freelance, whether you work for a company, I definitely see here there's room for success and movement forward. You're on to bigger and better things in your future. And the Four of Cups, you know, can indicate that you're asking for an omen or a sign, because things have been as they are for quite some time there, but it's sudden. It comes out of the blue. You're not expecting this success. And, you know, the Four of Cups can also indicate that some of you have been a little bit bored with your working environment. Same old thing, just a different day. So you're gaining new knowledge in order to open yourself up to an expanse of new opportunities there. There's definitely a lot of change and something really exciting coming on in if you're putting your resume out there. But I would say the Four of Cups is like just when you're beginning to doubt that things are challenging and are going to stay the same, suddenly the universe sends you a break. This is a breakthrough moment when it's partnered with that Six of Swords there, okay? So this can indicate that there is an energy of moving on from challenging times. I mean, some of you could have submerged yourself in working, but at the same time, gaining new knowledge. And it could be that you're coming out of that period now, gaining a certification or qualification that helps you, you know, open new doors and new pay grades there for you. But Six of Swords definitely indicates that you're coming out of a very testing time when it comes to your working environment, and you're moving on to bigger and better things. Now, some of you may have been thinking about having total revamp or reshaping your working environment. You may be trying to be more nomadic in your working environment, working on the go for some of you. Maybe this is something that you're already doing, and it can be that it's literally changed the way that you live your life and it's freed you up in some way. But also it can be that you're thinking about relocating your business or migrating your skills in some way, because this is overseas travel. And I definitely see it will benefit you, but it's important to get a legal structure in place so you do not misstep. And because it can be that if you try and go alone on this, you may end up with a minor disappointment in some area that you could like avoid completely if you got someone who's in a position of authority that has the qualifications to help you there. And of course, a lot of you, it's like you're under pressure right now and you're working really hard to get everything done, lock onto your goals so you can be free and take a vacation there and just relax. But whilst you're away, you're going to really think about the next steps and how you can improve on your circumstances to build in wealth. The fact that the King of Pentacles came out there, some of you are trying to restructure so that you can be your own boss. You've got so much information, so much knowledge, so much skills. Some of you are like, well, why am I not doing this by myself? Why am I not being my own boss? So it could be that you become a mentor, teach other people how to do what you do, or it could be that you become your own boss and run things. And, you'll see a lot of people who you used to work with come on board whatever it is you're doing. It could be that, clients or customers migrate with you at this time as well there. But I feel a lot of you are expanding on opportunity. Yes, there's changes there, but these changes, at first they may shock you, but they will benefit you long term. And I feel like you're protected and directed at this time. Six of Swords is an energy of exploration, very explorative time, recovery from, a negative situation. If some of you have an unexpected bill come in, This could be from like a financial institution that you're already connected to. And what I mean by that is, the water, electricity. It could be there is an increase in that. And you could be shocked about it, or they try to charge more than they should. You may actually contest this and stand up to this, and you'll see that actually there's recompense. There is some sort of compensation or a deal for some of you. But alternatively, I feel there is this energy of like going elsewhere. So if you feel like you're getting the same service and it's just not up to scratch, you're looking at service providers at this moment in time, because the Hierophant can be establishments that you traditionally use. It can be that, you feel like they're asking for an unreasonable amount of money for the service they're providing, and it's not up to scratch. So you could confront them on it and say, look, I'm leaving. If you continue to increase on my bills, but the service is the same or it's just shoddy, I'm not accepting it. I feel like you have the power to command, and you may actually migrate your business elsewhere. You're going to take yourself elsewhere for a better deal. And that will really make people sit up and say, power to the people. There is a change here going on. I feel that probably should happen across the board, but hey. So I'm just going to get one more. My guide said again, so there I am doing it again. I'm just going to lock off the decks how they were before. We have miracles. I mean, the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune and the Six of Swords, they equate to a miracle. So you may be praying for a miracle with that Four of Cups, but you're going to get it. Okay, so if things have been hard for you, I definitely see there is some sort of opportunity that changes everything. It says, gracious gifts from Spirit, angels intervene, redeemed, lifted up, your needs are met, you're going to get support. Okay, now some of you, this could be a support network, or it could be someone coming in, drafted in as a support. Some of you may be outsourcing some of your work, especially if you work for yourself, so that you can, delegate things more fairly. You may be making some adjustments, because the Tower can indicate you're doing it all by yourself. And it's a lot, and it could mean that you're under a lot of pressure and you're at capacity. So there is a need to outsource in some way, or hire someone who can help to take the load off there, because a lot of you are exhausted. We also have discernment, screening your options. So if you are hiring, or if you are looking for roles, new roles or opportunities, you're being discerning because you value yourself. You know what you're capable of. You stand out when it comes to your industry. So you're not going to settle for second best or less than you truly deserve. We've got important choices, pros and cons, digging for gold. I love that. A lot of you with that King of Pentacles, you're digging for gold. So you're making some adjustments. You're exploring what works, what doesn't work, and you're doing more of what works and trying to build upon it. So that Tower can indicate that you are building on something that works. You're restructuring. And it says only the best. Only the best for you, my beautiful Virgo, because you bring your A game to everything that you do. You're diligent, you're hardworking, and I feel like you deserve a break, and it's coming on in here for you. We've got education. Knowledge is power for sure, and I feel a lot of you are educating yourself to a high degree to stay, abreast of the changes, or, any new technology or anything that you need to know in your industry, so that you are like ahead of the curve, as it were. It says here, study, teaching, training, reading, writing, publishing, and advancing. I mean, there's your card of advancement right there. Okay, so it could be a sudden advancement, sudden opportunity that sees you sidestep a couple of, how can I put that, titles. There could be some sort of promotion or something that sees you catapult towards a position of authority and you miss a step. So if, for example, you start here, you're so good at what you do, maybe there's another role in between that naturally you should progress to, but you're so good at what you do, you actually progress to the next level. You miss this one out. So education is the key to your success there. And some of you, you may actually decide to do something that benefits you and coincides with what you do already. So this could be launching something new, exploring a new avenue, something that will complement what you do already and bring in another stream of income to build in your wealth. And finally, we've got progress. It's slow, it's steady, but it's progress, okay? So we've got that little turtle there, which, indicates that, you're taking steps, you're persisting long-term, things are going swimmingly, and you're in the flow. It may feel sometimes when you're in a flurry of activity that you're not making progress because you're in the middle of it. but actually I feel like you're making a lot of progress, and you will be very proud of yourself when you leave the end of July, because I feel like you got a lot done there, even against the odds, distractions, and, you know, people feeling like they're kind of like being unrealistic in what they're asking of you. I still feel that no matter what, you rise to the top, okay? So I'm just going to go and get a trinket or rune before we close. So we have a seahorse, okay? And seahorses, they kind of break tradition. So you have that Hierophant card, which is to break with tradition, to do something that is radically different than everybody else. And you're going to be successful at it. If you think about seahorses, the male seahorse, they carry the babies to term. So it can be that you're doing something different that is against the norm in your industry, which sees you stand out. You're original. You're a maverick. You're doing something bold and daring that not everybody does. So I feel it's going to be very beneficial for you and marks you as someone who is unique, a visionary, or iconic in your rise to whatever it is that you do. Also, for some of you, you know, this could be that you're taking some maternity leave, for example, and you're deciding to educate yourself during that maternity leave to maybe branch out in a different direction as well, to keep your options open. So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates in that reading for some of you out there. Thank you so much, and love and light.